My name is Amelia Reed, I'm 28, and I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom, staring at the same oak tree I've watched for 2 decades. The difference is, back then, this room was a haven. Now, it's a cage. My laptop screen is bright with the half-finished scene of a screenplay, but the words feel hollow, drowned out by the oppressive silence seeping through the floorboards. It's the kind of quiet that isn't peaceful, it's heavy, thick with unspoken ultimatums. Amelia. Dinner. My mother's voice slices through the quiet. It's not a call, it's a summons. Beatrice Reed doesn't speak, she commands. Every syllable is polished, sharp, and leaves no room for negotiation. I close the laptop, the soft click echoing in the stillness. Downstairs, the scene is a familiar tableau of domestic frost. My father, Walter, is hiding behind the evening paper, his knuckles white where he grips the pages. My older brother, Preston, leans against the kitchen counter, a smug smirk playing on his lips as he scrolls through his phone, probably admiring his own reflection on the dark screen. He's the heir apparent to the family throne, and he wears the title like a crown. I take my seat, the polished wood of the dining table cold beneath my forearms. The air is thick with the scent of roasted chicken and resentment. I feel like a ghost at this table, a stranger in the house I grew up in. My mind drifts to another kitchen, one that always smelled of cinnamon and melting butter. My grandmother, Matilda Mayfair. I can almost feel her hand on my shoulder, her voice a warm whisper against the chill in this room. Your stories have wings, little bird, she used to tell me, her eyes twinkling. Don't ever let anyone cage them. It's a memory I cling to like a life raft in a storm-tossed sea. It's the only thing that feels real anymore. The clinking of silverware against porcelain is the only sound for the first 10 minutes. It's a symphony of avoidance. Finally, Beatrice places her knife and fork down with deliberate precision, creating a sharp clack that makes us all flinch. The performance is about to begin. Preston landed the Harrington account today, she announces, her gaze sweeping the table but not quite landing on me. A 6-figure contract for their annual gala. It's going to be a huge boost for Reed Events. It was nothing, Mom, Preston says, though his chest puffs out. They knew quality when they saw it. We're the best in the state, after all. He glances at me, a flicker of triumph in his eyes. He's not just celebrating a win, he's marking his territory. My mother's perfectly manicured hands fold on the table. Her eyes, the color of cold steel, finally lock onto mine. And what about you, Amelia? She asks, her voice deceptively soft. How is your little project coming along? Do you realize you're 28 years old? The word project is coded in condescension. She makes my life's passion sound like a middle school science fair entry. Preston scoffs into his napkin. She's waiting for Hollywood to call, Mom. Just let her dream. The heat rises in my cheeks. It's not a dream, I say, my voice tighter than I'd like. It's my work. My career. A career, Beatrice repeats, tasting the word as if it's gone sour. A career doesn't pay for the roof over your head, Amelia. This family, this business, pays for that. Something you'd know if you spent less time typing fantasies and more time in the real world. I look to my father for help, for any sign of support. He just clears his throat, his eyes fixed on his plate. The girl's been trying, he mutters, so low it's almost lost. It's the most pathetic defense I've ever heard, and it feels worse than his silence. It's an admission of his own powerlessness. The loneliness is a physical weight in my chest, a cold, hard stone of disappointment. I'm completely on my own here, surrounded by the people who are supposed to love me most, and I have never felt more alone. Something inside me snaps. It's a frayed cord that's been stretched too thin for too long. I put my fork down, my hand steady despite the tremor starting in my core. You know what, Mom? I'm tired. I'm so tired of this. Beatrice raises a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. Tired of what, dear? A comfortable life that you don't have to pay for. Tired of my entire existence being measured against the success of Reed events. I say, my voice rising. Tired of my dreams being treated like a joke at my own dinner table. I am not going to apologize for who I am. I am a writer. That's it. That's the deal. Preston leans back, a grin spreading across his face. He loves this. The drama. The conflict. As long as he's not in the hot seat. Oh, here we go. The tortured artist. Shut up, Preston, I snap, turning my full attention back to my mother. I will not give up. I am not going to become some corporate drone just to be a cog in your machine. This is my life, not an extension of your empire. The moment the words leave my mouth, the temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. My mother's face, usually a mask of controlled poise, hardens into something I've never seen before. It's pure, cold fury. She stands up, her chair scraping violently against the hardwood floor. My empire, she hisses, her voice low and dangerous. This empire is what gave you everything. Every lesson, every opportunity you've squandered. She takes a step towards me. If your life doesn't include this family and the legacy we have built, then this house no longer has a place for you. My blood runs cold. What are you saying? Her eyes are devoid of any warmth, any motherly affection. They are the eyes of a CEO firing an underperforming employee. I am saying you are no longer our daughter. You have made your choice. Now live with it. Beatrice, don't. My father starts, his voice a weak plea. You stay out of this, Walter, she snarls, not even glancing at him. Heels or out. She must choose. Either it is us, or it is that nonsensical scribbling. Get out. She points a long, elegant finger toward the front door. The gesture is so theatrical, so final, it feels like a scene from a movie. My father shrinks in his chair, defeated. Preston just watches, his smile a thin, cruel line. My own mother. My own father. My own brother. I look at their faces, and I see strangers. My body moves on its own. I stand up, my legs trembling. I grab my purse from the entryway table, my laptop bag from the stairs. I don't say another word. There's nothing left to say. I walk to the door, my heart hammering against my ribs. I pull it open and step out into the cold night air. Behind me, I hear the distinct, final sound of the deadbolt sliding into place. Click. A sound that says, you are no longer welcome. A sound that says, you are no longer home. The suburban street is quiet, the houses glowing with the warmth of families I am no longer a part of. I walk, not knowing where I'm going, just putting one foot in front of the other. My breath fogs in the chilly air. It feels like I'm in a dream, a nightmare where the world looks the same, but everything is wrong. I end up at a dingy motel off the highway, the kind with a flickering neon sign that promises more than it delivers. The room smells of stale cigarettes and disinfectant. I sit on the edge of the stiff, scratchy bedspread and pull out my phone. My hands are shaking as I dial my mom's number. It goes straight to voicemail. I try my dad. Same thing. Preston's phone rings once, then disconnects. He actively declined the call. A wave of nausea rolls over me. This is real. They really did it. I need to pay for the room. I open my banking app, navigating to the joint savings account Preston and I have had since we were teenagers. It was for emergencies. This is an emergency. But when the page loads, my heart stops. Balance, $0. I stare at the screen, my mind refusing to process what I'm seeing. $1,000. Gone. I scroll through the transaction history, my thumb trembling. A single withdrawal, made yesterday. Transferred to an account under his name, Preston Reed. He knew. He knew this was coming, or he helped plan it. He drained our emergency fund the day before they threw me out. The cruelty of it is breathtaking. It's not just a betrayal, it's a calculated, vicious attack designed to leave me with absolutely nothing. I collapse back onto the bed, the cheap fabric rough against my cheek. I hug my laptop to my chest, my stories, my scripts, the only thing they couldn't take from me. But in the crushing silence of this anonymous motel room, for the first time in my life, I wonder if they were right. Maybe my dreams really are worthless. If you're finding some value in this story so far, I'd be so grateful if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And let me know what city you're listening from in the comments below. Every comment helps the story reach more people, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. The next week is a blur of cheap coffee and mounting panic. I spend my days in the local library, using their free Wi-Fi to apply for any job that will have me, barista, dog walker, retail drone. Anything to keep from having to sleep in my car. My nights are spent in the suffocating silence of the motel room, the blinking red of the smoke detector a constant, mocking reminder of my failure. I've lost track of how many times I've reread my mother's final text, a cold, curt message that simply said, "Do not contact us again." Just when I'm about to hit absolute rock bottom, an email pings in my inbox. The sender's name is Alistair Finch, a name I don't recognize. But it's the subject line that makes my breath catch in my throat. Subject, urgent, regarding the trust of Matilda Mayfair. Matilda Mayfair. My grandmother. My heart gives a painful lurch. With trembling fingers, I open the email. It's brief, formal, and utterly baffling. It says I am the sole beneficiary of an irrevocable trust and requests I call Mr. Finch's office at my earliest convenience to discuss the matter. A trust? My grandmother was comfortable, but she wasn't a millionaire. She never, ever mentioned a trust. Is this a scam? Some cruel new kind of phishing scheme designed to prey on the desperate? My rational mind screams yes, but a tiny, flickering ember of hope ignites in the pit of my stomach. What if it's real? My grandmother was the only one who ever truly saw me. It feels like a message from beyond the grave. I take a deep, shaky breath and dial the number listed in the email, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. Mr. Alistair Finch's office is the complete opposite of my motel room. It's all dark wood, leather-bound books, and the quiet, comforting scent of old paper. He's an older gentleman with kind eyes and a reassuringly calm demeanor. He doesn't ask why I look like I've been sleeping in my clothes for a week. He just gestures to a plush armchair and gets straight to the point. "Amelia," he begins, his voice gentle. "Your grandmother was a very wise and forward-thinking woman. She loved you a great deal." He slides a thick binder across the polished desk. "Before she passed, she set up an irrevocable trust in your name. She was concerned about family pressures. The terms are quite specific. The trust guarantees you the right to permanent, undisturbed residency in the family home for as long as you wish to live there." I stare at him, speechless. The family home. The home I was just thrown out of. "There's more," he continues, seeming to understand my shock. "She also allocated a significant fund, what's left of it, anyway, to support you financially while you pursue your screenwriting career. She wanted to ensure you'd never have to choose between your passion and your survival." He then hands me a thick, cream-colored envelope. My name is written on the front in my grandmother's familiar, elegant cursive. I break the seal, my hands shaking so badly I can barely unfold the letter. Her words, her voice, leap off the page. "My dearest little bird," it begins. "If you are reading this, it means the time has come that I always feared. I know your mother. I know how she loves, and I know how that love can feel like a cage. I know they will try to bend you to their will, to clip your wings and make you forget you were born to fly. I am writing this to remind you. This trust is my promise to you. It is your shield. The house is your nest, a place you always have a right to. The money is your freedom, the wind beneath your wings. I know they will try to tell you that your stories are worthless. Do not listen. They are your heart, your soul. And they are more valuable than any business, any contract, any legacy made of brick and mortar. I know they will try to break your wings, my little bird. This is me, making sure they can't. Now go. Fly. Tears stream down my face, blurring the ink. Hot tears of gratitude, of profound love for this woman who understood me so completely. But beneath the love is a rising tide of ice-cold fury. Mr. Finch mentioned, what's left of it. They knew. My family knew this trust existed. And they deliberately, maliciously, kept it from me while they threw me out on the street. My grief turns into a hard, sharp diamond of rage. I look up from the letter, my vision still blurry. Mr. Finch, you said, what's left of it? What did you mean by that? A somber expression settles on his face. He opens the binder and turns it towards me, tapping a finger on a ledger sheet filled with dates and numbers. The trust was established with a principal of $250,000. As of this morning, the remaining balance is just under $80,000. The air leaves my lungs. $170,000. Vanished. Where did it go? I ask, my voice a hoarse whisper. That's what we've been investigating, he says, sliding a second folder towards me. This one is filled with bank statements and transfer receipts. Large sums were moved from the trust into the primary business account of Reed Events. The transfers were authorized by the secondary trustees. Secondary trustees. Your parents, he confirms gently. Matilda named them as administrators, likely hoping it would encourage them to support you. The trust's bylaws are explicit, funds are to be used only for your direct benefit and career expenses. Any other use constitutes a breach of fiduciary duty. It is, to be blunt, embezzlement. Embezzlement. The word hangs in the air, ugly and sharp. It's one thing to be thrown out. It's another to be stolen from by the people who were supposed to protect you. My brother stealing $1,000 was petty and cruel. This was a grand-scale, long-term betrayal. They didn't just hide my safety net from me, they actively dismantled it, using my inheritance, my grandmother's gift, to fund their precious company. The company they chose over me. The anger is a fire in my veins, burning away all the tears, all the self-pity, all the doubt. This isn't just about my dream anymore. This is about justice. This is about honoring the one person who fought for me, even after she was gone. I meet Mr. Finch's gaze, my own feeling hard as flint. They knew, I say, my voice devoid of any tremor. They knew they were kicking me out of a house that was legally my right to live in. They knew they were stealing my money while telling me I was worthless. I'm afraid so, Amelia. I take a deep breath, the fire inside me forging something new, resolve. Set up a meeting, I say. I want them in this room. I want them to look me in the eye. The conference room feels like an arena. I sit on one side of the long, polished table, Mr. Finch beside me, his files laid out like weapons. On the other side sits my family. Beatrice looks imperious and annoyed, as if this is an inconvenient waste of her time. Preston is smirking, radiating arrogance. Only my father looks uncomfortable, his gaze fixed on a spot on the wall, refusing to look at me. Thank you for coming, Mr. Finch begins, his tone all business. We are here to discuss the administration of the Matilda Mayfair Trust. Beatrice scoffs. There's nothing to discuss. It's a simple family matter. On the contrary, Mr. Finch says, sliding a copy of the trust agreement across the table. It's a legal matter. One involving the illegal lockout of the primary beneficiary from her guaranteed residence, and the misappropriation of approximately $170,000. The smirk vanishes from Preston's face. My mother's mask of composure cracks, just for a second. I see a flash of panic in her eyes before it's gone. That is a ridiculous accusation, she says, her voice tight. We were merely borrowing the funds. An investment in the family's future. I can't stay silent any longer. I lean forward, my voice low and cold. The family's future, Mother. Or the future of your company. The future you decided I wasn't a part of. You told me I wasn't your daughter anymore. So that money certainly doesn't belong to you. You ungrateful little brat, Preston spits out. After everything we've done for you, you pull this. I turn my icy gaze on him. Done for me? Like you did with my savings account, you mean? You're a thief, Preston. A common, pathetic thief. He flinches as if I'd slapped him. My father finally looks down, staring at his hands, the picture of shame. Mr. Finch clears his throat, bringing the focus back. The evidence is undeniable. You have committed fraud. Amelia would be well within her rights to press criminal charges. My mother's face goes white. That's the word that finally gets through to her. Criminal. The stain on her perfect reputation. However, Mr. Finch continues, looking at me, she is prepared to offer a settlement. He lays out my terms. They will sign over the deed to a condominium downtown that the trust will purchase. They will relinquish all control of the trust, and the remaining funds will be transferred to a new account under my sole control. In return, I will not pursue legal action. Beatrice opens her mouth to argue, but I cut her off. This is not a negotiation, I say, standing up. It's the bill. You take the deal, or my next conversation is with the district attorney. You have 24 hours to decide. I turn and walk out of the room without a backward glance, leaving the wreckage of my family sitting in stunned silence. They took the deal. Of course, they did. The threat of public humiliation and a criminal record was a far greater motivator than any sense of morality. 2 weeks later, I'm standing in the living room of my own apartment. It's not huge, but it's mine. Sunlight streams through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. For the first time in my life, I feel like I can breathe. There are no expectations hanging in the air, no silent judgments clinging to the walls. There is only space. Space to think, to create, to be. I blocked their numbers the day the papers were signed. My mother managed to get a message through via email, something about how I was tearing the family apart. I deleted it without reading past the first line. They had torn the family apart long before I called a lawyer. They had torn it apart with every dismissive comment, every broken promise, every dollar they stole. The news of their financial troubles travels fast in a town like this. Read Events is hemorrhaging clients. The misunderstanding with the trust has become a thinly veiled scandal, and Beatrice's pristine reputation is in tatters. I don't take any pleasure in it, but I don't feel guilty, either. A part of me, a small, wounded child inside, mourns the family I should have had. But the woman I am today knows that you can't fix what's fundamentally broken. I buy a second-hand desk and place it by the window. I unpack the one thing I brought with me from that house that truly matters, my grandmother's old, heavy typewriter. It's a relic, but it's my connection to her, to the belief she had in me. I run my fingers over the cool, round keys. I roll in a fresh sheet of paper, the crisp sound echoing in the empty apartment. And I begin to type. The story pours out of me, raw and honest. It's a story about a woman who loses her family but finds herself. It's my story. Months pass. The city becomes my home. I find a small community of writers, people who understand the compulsion to build worlds with words. I meet Julian Croft, a wry, brilliant director with a passion for character-driven stories, and Sophia Rossi, a fiercely loyal and whip-smart producer who can make magic happen on a shoestring budget. We spend long nights in cheap diners, sketching out scenes on napkins, fueled by coffee and a shared dream. They read my script, the one I started in that empty apartment, and they don't see a hobby. They see potential. They see a voice. They become my champions, my collaborators, my friends. They become the family I chose. We pool our resources and shoot a short film based on my script. Standing on a real set, watching actors speak the words I wrote, hearing a director shout, "Action." It's more incredible than I ever allowed myself to imagine. It feels like coming home. The film gets accepted into a small, regional festival. The night of the screening, the three of us sit in the dark theater, holding our breath. And then, my name is called for Best Original Screenplay. As I walk to the stage, the applause sounds like a wave washing over me, cleansing all the old hurts, all the old doubts. I look out and see Julian and Sophia, cheering, their faces glowing with pride. In that moment, I realize my grandmother was right. My wings were never broken, just folded away. And now, finally, I'm flying. They've tried to reach out a few times since then, a card on my birthday, an email around the holidays, always hinting at an apology I'm not sure they're capable of giving. I've never replied. I made my choice, and I chose peace. I chose myself. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder. Did I do the right thing, cutting them off completely? Or should I have left a door open? Am I the bad guy for walking away forever? Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your support means the world to me.